Hi everybody. We're here on a trail today, so it could get busy. We might have some interruptions, and it's very windy, so I'll need to hear if everybody can hear me. And we've also got some pretty active helicopters today, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear me and we don't have too many interruptions. Hi April. I'll wait for a couple of more people to be here. Hi, Lisa. Today we're talking about the itty bitty bush tit. So, hi, Ann. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about, hi, Katie. We're talking about the itty bitty bush tit. So, okay, I'm gonna try to say this scientific name. It's Pasaltroparis minimus. So what do you think minimus sounds like it means? It means mini. So these guys are about the size, they remind me of little ping pong balls because they're tiny, they're that size, and they're kind of plump, and they just bounce around, you know. So let me show you a picture. This is a bush tit. So you can see they're brown, gray, and this is almost white. Their heads are brown, wings are gray, slightly darker above than below, which is actually kind of a safety adaptation, because if you look at a bird from above them, that dark top blends in with the ground. Whereas if you look up to see them, that lightness is going to blend in more with a cloud. So that's why that is. Hi, Jeannie. So you can see that these guys have kind of a large head. They have a long tail. They have a short, stubby bill. And the difference between the males and the females, hopefully you can see this. Hi, Robert. Is that this is a male. So see the dark eyes? And this is the female. So see the really light eyes. Now, I think the little bush tits, they have this partial mask, and it makes them look, I don't know, kind of stank, like flycatchers. They have that too. And at least that's what I think. And I think the eyes on the female make them look like that too. And they are sort of feisty little birds. I did a mist netting with the Natural History Museum down in the Tijuana River Valley, and when we caught the bush tits in the nest and they did the banding, the bush tits were the feisty ones. Everybody, the other birds were, you know, they were keeping their cool. So there is kind of a regional difference too. And the regional difference is the coastal birds have more of this brownish crown. Apparently the inland birds are more grayish. And also this mask is more prevalent in the southern region, which is where we are. So these pictures look like they're taken from here. And by the way, thank you, Mark Arndt, for your picture that I was able to put on the Canva. So the habitat that they live in is pretty, you know, varied. They live in the oak forest, they live in the evergreen forest, they live in the scrublands, in the suburbs. I don't see them that much in the suburbs, frankly, but they say that they do frequent them. The place that they avoid is the mountains, really high mountains. They don't like that, and they don't like really low deserts. So you're not going to see them in Borrego. They are a pretty widespread bird, and they are locals. They're here year-round and pretty common. So here at the estuary, the best way to see them is anytime you see little tiny birds, a big flock of them, and I see them often in the salt bush, the big salt bushes. So you're going to see them at bush level, and they are in, you know, big flocks, except during breeding season. Trying to see April's comment. Yeah, they really do just zip around. Yeah, so you can kind of describe their appearance, because in their behavior is really lively and social, and they constantly talk. Yes. So often before you see them, you're going to hear them. Correct, April. They have what is called a non-coherent flock formation, and what that means is if you have a coherent one, that's when birds of a flock move together. You know, one moves, they all go at the same time. So theirs is a non-coherent, which means they have a lot of independence in that flock. So as they move from bush to bush, they kind of move at their own pace. And I think that's why they talk so much, is it's like the last bird in the bush can hear when their friends have moved on to the next bush. And so that helps them keep together as a flock. They mix with other birds. So they do have, they do establish a territory, but they don't really defend that territory too much. They mix with other little birds like warblers and ruby kinglets, and they do move nimbly and quickly, and sometimes when you watch them forage, you'll actually see them hanging upside down. And they eat things like, you know, tiny, because they're tiny, they eat tiny scale insects and aphids and ants and leaf hoppers. They eat spiders, smaller caterpillars, and sometimes berries and willow seeds. And oddly, I read that they like olives. So if you have an olive tree, maybe you will see them in the suburbs. Their breeding is March to May, and that is the time that you will see them separate from the flock and, you know, get into their nesting pairs. So they stay together for several years. So maybe not monogamous forever, but mostly monogamous. And let's talk about their nests. And I have something exciting to show you today. I know I hardly ever can show you something live, but I can today, provided I don't drop the camera or, you know, not work it right. So their nest, they nest in the bushes, and they try several sites before choosing one. And they mark those sites by hanging a spider web. Not something we would notice, but that's how they sort of keep track of their choices. They both build the nest together. It takes a month to build. And as I show you a nest, I'm just going to wait for this person to walk by, because I don't want to draw attention to where the nest is, because birds use their nest over again. And these birds will have up to 2 different broods. And so, you know, even though like right now they're not using the nest, I mean, if they were using it, I probably wouldn't be able to get this close and show it to you. Maybe they decided that this was not the one they were going to use, but I don't know why not, because it's very nice. Okay, he's gone by, and I'm going to try to take the camera off and show this to you. My friend Tracy, who I think is on camera, I mean off camera, but here today, showed this to me. So let's turn around this way. And let's do this. Okay, you guys see it? Okay, I'm gonna try to get closer because we can actually see the entrance. So they, okay. Can you guys see that entrance? It's kind of hard to show without, there we go. So the entrance is at the top, and you can see that it is kind of this long gourd shape, or like a sock. And the babies, the nest bowl is at the bottom. And then, you know, the entrance is at the top. And you may not be able to see, but they decorate it with, you know, stuff from nearby plants. And that helps camouflage it. So let me make sure nobody's coming. Oh, people are coming. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera. It's so exciting to get to show you guys something live. Okay. Okay. Now again, we never want to find a nest and take it home because they may use it again. So let me grab my picture. I dropped it. Okay. So sometimes on the nest you'll see things like moss, spider webs, grass. The inside bowl they'll insulate with feathers and fur. And again, they do camouflage it with bits of nearby plants. And so here comes some interesting facts. Bush tits hang out together beyond the mated pair. It's mostly the males, but males that aren't mated, but they have been known to help build the nest. They also sleep in the nest, so it's like a communal little hotel before the eggs are there. And usually adult males that, you know, aren't mated will even help raise the babies. So, you know, they help build the nest, they sleep in the nest, they help raise the babies, and they all huddle together when it's windy and stormy. And that's kind of a rare thing, even in cooperatively nesting birds. It's kind of rare. I mean, of all the birds that I've been studying and talking about, that's the first one that I've heard do that. Now the eggs must be tiny, and they lay 4 to 10 of them, and they're white and smooth. So no speckling, nothing like that. The incubation takes 12 to 13 days. And like most passerines, they are altricial, which means helpless, you know, blind, hardly any feathers. Again, as I said, both parents made the nest, but they also together incubate the eggs and feed the babies. So they do everything together. And their lifespan is about 9 years. So I think I didn't expect them to live quite that long. Anyway, if you do want to attract them to your yard, you won't be able to with any kind of a feeder. They're really not into feeders. Your best bet is to plant native. And next week, I'm going to be talking about the Miraculous mirabilis, which is a plant. And the one I want to show you happens to be on a slope with a whole bunch of plants that are great for your yard. So since talking about a plant is a little bit shorter of a Lunchtime Live, I'll try to just swing through and show you some of the other plants that you could plant in your yard. Not all of the native plants are appropriate for your yard because they spread like crazy. Some of them, but these don't. They're nice for your yard, and maybe you could attract a bush tit. So I think that's it for today. Let me just show you one more time. There's the male with his black eyes, and there is the female with her yellow eyes. So there you have it. You see a nest like that, you know not to take it, even though it's pretty cool. All right. Thank you guys, and thank you everybody that helped me with pictures and showing me the nest. All right. See you next week.